Daenerys Targaryen conquers Meereen with fire and disciplined infantry. But after the banners change, the killings begin. Unsullied are found dead in alleys. Freedmen who work for her disappear. Masked figures strike at night and leave the Harpy behind. The sons of the Harpy never meet her in open battle, and yet they threaten her rule more effectively than any army outside the walls. So the real question is not who they were in name. The question is how they operated inside a city that Daenerys supposedly controlled. Hello everyone, and welcome to Storyteller's Codex. Here we delve deep into the rich lore of the Lord of the Rings, a song of ice and fire, and the vast worlds beyond. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. The text makes something clear very early. The killings are selective. In A Dance with Dragons, reports come to Daenerys about unsullied patrols being ambushed in narrow streets. Their throats are cut. Their bodies are left where they fall. There is no looting, no riots, no collateral damage. In one scene, an Unsullied is found murdered while alone on patrol. The report emphasises that he died cleanly and quickly. This is not chaotic violence, it is targeted execution. Freedmen who take administrative roles under Daenerys are also attacked. That detail is important. The Sons are not attacking randomly. They are attacking collaborators. The Harpy symbol itself signals identity. The Harpy is the ancient emblem of Old Guise, the slave-holding civilization that once ruled Slavers Bay. By wearing the Harpy mask, the killers are invoking the legitimacy of the Old Order. Daenerys recognizes that connection. She reflects that the Sons strike at those closest to her authority. She suspects the Great Masters. She lacks proof. And here's the structural point. Random mobs do not sustain disciplined assassination campaigns over months. That requires funding, coordination, and protected space. Compare this to the Brotherhood without banners in Westeros. They do not burn cities at random. They target Lannister men, Freys, and collaborators. Their violence serves a political aim. The Sons operate the same way. Their aim is not destruction, it is destabilization. To understand how the Sons avoided capture, you have to look at Meereen's internal structure. The city is built around pyramids. The Great Pyramid houses the ruling elite. Beneath it are lesser pyramids controlled by noble families. Those families maintain extensive household networks, servants, guards, extended kin. When Daenerys abolishes slavery, she ends legal ownership. She does not dismantle wealth or social hierarchy. In her chapters, she spends hours hearing petitions. Freedmen complain they have no steady work. Former masters complain that their property has been seized. She observes that Meereen is a city of pyramids, each with its own pride and interests. That structure matters. Even if the Great Masters are officially stripped of slaves, they still control buildings, family networks, and private guards. If members of those households participate in insurgency, they can disappear into those networks. The Unsullied patrol the streets. They do not control every pyramid interior. This is where comparison helps. In Astapor, once Daenerys leaves, the old structure reasserts itself violently. In Yunkai, the Wise Masters resume power as soon as pressure lifts. Meereen does not collapse immediately because Daenerys stays, but the class structure remains intact, and that structure gives the Sons cover. They are not operating in open territory. They are operating inside elite households. The Unsullied are among the most disciplined infantry in the world of A Song of Ice and Fire. In formation, they are nearly unstoppable. On open ground, they hold. But Meereen is not open ground. The text repeatedly describes narrow alleys, blind corners, rooftop vantage points. Unsullied are found dead in places where formations are impossible. This is urban insurgency. Masked attackers strike quickly, then vanish. Witnesses refuse to speak. Informants are rare. Daenerys orders harsher patrols. She authorises investigations. Skahaz pushes for arrests of the Great Masters. But the Unsullied lack something critical: a local intelligence network. Compare this to Varys in King's Landing. Varys survives because he knows who is whispering in which corridor. The Unsullied do not have children in the walls. They do not have informants in kitchens. They have discipline. They do not have embedded knowledge. The Sons exploit that gap. The most revealing evidence about how the Sons operated comes from timing. Skahaz Makandak repeatedly argues that the Harpy sits within the pyramids. He urges Daenerys to arrest leading noble families. He insists the violence is coordinated from above. Daenerys hesitates because she lacks proof. Arresting major houses without evidence risks open revolt. Then she marries Hizdahr zo Loraq. After the marriage, the killings decrease, not vanish, decrease. That change aligns with political reintegration of the old elite. Hizdahr represents noble Meereen. His marriage restores their voice within the regime. If the Sons were an independent underground movement, the marriage would not affect them. But if elements of the nobility were financing or directing the campaign, the marriage provides incentive to reduce pressure. Hizdahr denies involvement. The text never gives a confession. But the pattern is consistent. When the old elite are excluded from power, violence intensifies. When they regain influence, it slows. That suggests the Sons were not operating outside the ruling class. They were embedded within it. After months of killings, the Unsullied still cannot dismantle the Sons. The problem is not discipline, it is intelligence. In her chapters, Daenerys repeatedly receives reports from Grey Worm that patrols are increasing and suspects are being questioned. Yet arrests produce little. Witnesses claim ignorance, servants vanish, doors close. The Unsullied are foreign soldiers. They do not speak the local dialect fluently. They do not belong to guilds. They do not have cousins in kitchens or brothers in merchant houses. Urban insurgency depends on invisibility within ordinary life. The Sons blend into that life. Compare this to Varys in King's Landing. His strength is not military force, it is information. He knows who whispers, who pays, who conspires. Meereen has no equivalent network serving Daenerys. The Unsullied can hold gates, they can defend walls, but they cannot penetrate family pyramids without starting a class war. And that is the limitation the Sons exploit. The Sons do not operate in isolation. Outside Meereen's walls stands the Yunkish coalition. Their armies encamp beyond the city. Trade slows, food becomes scarce, tension rises. The timing of violence inside the city often aligns with diplomatic strain outside it. When negotiations falter, killings increase. When talks resume, pressure eases. This suggests coordination, or at minimum mutual benefit. The Yunkish want Meereen unstable. The Sons want Daenerys discredited. Their objectives overlap. In several council scenes, Daenerys debates whether the Yunkish are secretly supporting the insurgency. While the text does not provide direct proof, it repeatedly places external siege pressure alongside internal killings. This dual pressure creates a political vice. If Daenerys cracks down too hard internally, she risks revolt. If she shows weakness, she invites external attack. The Sons thrive in that tension. When Daenerys agrees to marry Hizdahr zo Loraq, she does so reluctantly. She tells herself that ruling requires compromise. She reopens the fighting pits despite her moral revulsion. She accepts elite reintegration as a cost of peace. After the marriage, the killings decrease. This is not coincidence in narrative structure. The book places these developments deliberately close together. The violence does not stop entirely, but it slows enough that Daenerys considers the possibility that peace might hold. What changes? The Great Masters regain proximity to power. Their interests are no longer fully excluded from governance. If the Sons were operating through elite networks, this shift would alter their incentive structure. And here is the crucial detail. Daenerys does not defeat the Sons militarily during this period. She integrates their social base. The reduction in violence comes from political compromise, not battlefield victory. At Daznak's pit, everything destabilizes. Daenerys disappears on Drogon. The crowd panics. Authority fractures. Barristan Selmy arrests Hizdahr zo Loraq shortly afterward, believing him complicit in poisoning. With Hizdahr imprisoned and Daenerys absent, the fragile balance collapses. The Yunkish tighten the siege. Internal suspicion spikes. Violence resumes. This pattern reinforces the earlier point. The Sons operate most aggressively when elite influence is threatened or removed. Without Daenerys present and without Hizdahr acting as a political bridge, Meereen becomes polarized again. The insurgency thrives in that vacuum. Daenerys conquered Meereen militarily. She did not dismantle its class structure. The Sons of the Harpy operated inside that structure, using noble networks, urban geography, selective violence, and political timing. They did not need to defeat dragons in open battle. They They needed to make rule expensive, and the evidence in the text suggests they understood something fundamental. A city is not controlled simply because its gates have fallen. It is controlled when its elite, its streets, and its people accept the new order. In Meereen, that acceptance never fully occurred. If you're interested in The Lord of the Rings or A Song of Ice and Fire, click one of the links on the screen to dive deeper into the lore. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time.